This is it. It's what every player in the NFL dreams of. This is the top prize. It's what the pounding and the pain is all about. The Super Bowl trophy is an honor that doesn't come cheap. To get even a shot at it, you first have to make the playoffs. Well, the personal stakes may be even higher. In 1946, Cleveland hired a new coach, Paul Brown. He turned the team into a champion. In 1961, Cleveland got a new owner, Art Modell. He fired Brown. It's been a sore spot ever since. This has been a year of frustration for Modell. Again, he'll watch someone else hold the Super Bowl trophy. Today, his team gets a chance to make sure that it isn't Paul Brown.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Cleveland Browns versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
Final game of the NFL regular season, the battle for Ohio as the Bengals host the Browns. Must-win situation for Cincinnati. A loss today eliminates them from the playoffs. A victory gives them a chance either as AFC Central champion or as a wild card. The umbrellas are out at Riverfront Stadium. It's been raining all morning. The temperature, though, still relatively warm, 42 degrees, but it's headed down and freezing rain before the game is over. The weather could be a factor. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cincinnati. Tom Hammond with Hall of Famer Joe Namath. Joe, a must-win game, the second in a row for the Cincinnati Bengals, who came through against Houston. But where they're a substantial favorite as they are today, it's been a problem for them.
It's been a problem in the past, but it shouldn't be a problem today. The playoffs are at stake. If they don't turn the ball over early, they should beat a Cleveland team that, well, quite frankly, they haven't played their best this season.
Some new faces of the quarterback situation. We're expecting always to see Boomer Esiason square off against Bernie Kosar. Boomer will be playing today, but Bernie will be on the sideline.
Right, Boomer's been nursing that bruised groin muscle. He played well last week, even ran the ball. Bernie Kosar, of course, has a fractured thumb. Without him, they're going to be playing Mike Pagel. Now, Mike, he pressed last week. He said this week he's going to play his own game. He's not going to try and make things happen. Let his receivers make things happen. Let his running game go. So we're looking forward to Pagel breaking out of that slump. He hasn't led these Browns to a score yet.
And the Bengals with a 21-19 lead in this series, a statistic that has not escaped the attention of Paul Brown, who gets a great deal of satisfaction from the fact that the Bengals, his new team, have the series lead over his old club, the Browns. Eric Metcalf is deep to receive the opening kickoff for Cleveland, and he takes it at the 3-yard line. Metcalf to the 10, across the 20, gets away from one man and gets to the outside. Metcalf up the sideline to the 32-yard line. Good return by Eric Metcalf, who finally was stopped by Solomon Wilcots after a 28-yard kickoff return. Here's a look now at the Cleveland starting offensive lineup. That offensive line struggled earlier, but has shown improvement. Pagel starts for the third time today. He's hit 47% of his passes, 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Mack the top rusher, Metcalf the leading receiver. Brian Brennan replaces the injured Reggie Langhorne. When the Browns go to quarters, Joines is in for Newsome, and Metcalf moves to wide receiver. Metcalf is in motion. Mack the only setback behind Mike Pagel. Kevin Mack. Flag down as Mack gets only a couple of yards. Penalty marker on the first play. Last week, when the Browns were shut out by Pittsburgh, they fumbled their first 3 snaps. This will be a holding call against the Browns as Tim Krumrie made the tackle on Mack.
Well, Cincinnati doesn't want to give Cleveland a chance to get started. Pagel, as we mentioned.
66, offense, holding.
Okay.
10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
There's the penalty on Tony Jones, the right tackle for Cleveland. Pagel, as a starter, hasn't led Dale Schaffner's Browns to a score yet. He started twice this season. Cincinnati certainly doesn't want to allow Cleveland a quick start out of the gate. They want to make them work for things, and this penalty on Tony Jones is going to hurt the Browns' effort.
And Cleveland, again, their own worst enemy. It's 1st and 20. Pagel hands to Metcalf. Eric Metcalf with a nice run. Metcalf across the 35 to the 36, where Tim Krumrie gets all the way over to the sideline from his nose tackle spot to force him out of bounds. A 14-yard run by Eric Metcalf. Defensive League, Crumry had a big game last week against Houston. Rookie first-round choice Francis leads the team in tackles and sacks, actually tied with Walker for #1 tackle. And the Bengals, when they go to their dime, Buck is a fourth defensive lineman, Carter and Price into the backfield. And there's the starting secondary. Price replaces Fulcher in the dive. Pagel lofts it, and it's complete to Ozzie Newsome, and Newsome has a Cleveland first down. He's to the 43-yard line, stopped by James Francis, as the great one, Ozzie Newsome, probably in his final game, takes the reception and adds to those great receiving totals which he has piled up over the years.
Take a look at Mike Pagel putting nice touch on this pass. He's got a strong arm, but he can get good touch on the ball as well. And once again, Pagel's pride is at stake here. He wants to get Ozzie Newsome and the rest of these Browns into the end zone.
Ozzie Newsome needs only 26 receiving yards today to become the 15th NFL player with 8,000 receiving yards. Browns with a first down. Pagel's pass is complete to Slaughter, then picked off. They say now incomplete. Well, Eric Thomas came out of there with a football after it looked like Slaughter had made the catch, and the final ruling is incomplete pass.
Webster Slaughter never gets a handle on the pass. He's going to run downfield at the top of your screen, turn toward us, and there's a little hole in the defense right there between three defenders, and Pagel delivers the ball right on target, but once again, Slaughter fails to hold on to it.
Mike Pagel told us yesterday, Joe, he was embarrassed by that 35-0 shellacking at Pittsburgh a week ago, and he felt like he really had something to prove today. High formation in the backfield here. Metcalf is the tailback. Pagel changing the play. Now they move to split backs, and they've run out of time. Delay of game call. And there, I guess, is the inexperience Pagel has at trying to change the play, just not that familiar with the offense.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Now, we know that Pagel's been around 9 years. He is an experienced quarterback, but what he's inexperienced at right now is playing time. These reps, he hasn't played much this season, and he doesn't have the grasp for that clock and play control that he'd certainly like to have, that he will have with more playing time.
So it's 2nd and 15 for the Browns. Opening drive of the game from Riverfront Stadium. Metcalf sweeping the left side. Falls forward for about 3 yards. Carl Zander gets credit for the tackle over on the sideline. That's a play that went for 14 yards earlier as Metcalf turned the corner. That time, Zander doesn't let him get outside.
Yeah, I have to believe that Eric Metcalf and his teammates are concerned with holding on to the football after last week's exhibition. Metcalf losing the ball a few times.
3 times, as a matter of fact.
Yes, and that is on a receiver's mind. It's on a ball carrier's mind, folks. They know they must hold on to that ball tighter, so it takes a little extra concentration.
3rd and 11, and Pagel's in the shotgun. As you might expect with a team like Cleveland, only 3 wins. 3rd down has not been a strong point. That was incomplete to Metcalf after Carl Carter hit him just as the ball arrived, and Metcalf couldn't hold on. Incomplete pass. It'll bring up 4th down.
Well, Carl Carter, number 45, does a good job of knocking the ball out of Metcalf's hands. Carter's going to throw that right arm over the top of Metcalf and just knock the ball right out of his grasp. Excellent defensive play.
So Brian Wagner is on to punt. There's Wagner, who's not having a good year, only averaging 38 yards a punt.
The replay official is reviewing the play. The replay official is reviewing the play.
All right, let's look again, Joe.
Well, it's this bothers me. No one in the stadium figures that there's a problem with this incomplete pass. Now he tells us that the rest of the world, the people in the booth, think the play is incomplete too. I never saw any question early, but those guys up in the booth, they have pressure on them. You know, they want to make things happen correctly or correct the ones that don't, so they're trying to do their job the best they can.
Wagner to punt to Mitchell Price. And Price settles under it at the 15. And takes it out of bounds after a short return. Harlan Barnett forced him out after a 43-yard punt, and now it's Boomer's turn with the offense. Boomer Esiason has a winning record against his in-state rival, the Browns, and here's the way the Bengals line up offensively. 10-time Pro Bowl performer Munoz has missed practice all week with a shoulder injury, but like last week, he'll play as long as he can. Boomer needs 123 yards passing to exceed 3,000 for the 6th straight year. Brooks, player of the week after a club record 201 yards rushing against Houston. And the Cincinnati nickel offense has 3 wide receivers as Barber replaces Woods. Cincinnati's first possession of the day. They begin from their own 18. Boomer's pass complete, then knocked loose. It'll be incomplete. Holman had it for a moment but couldn't hold on as he took a strong hit from that Cleveland secondary as Claiborne and Gash converged on him.
That's the whole story, Tom. Just a terrific hit right there in the secondary by Gash. Now watch Raymond Claiborne get that shoulder in there and knock the ball loose. Excellent defense. That's a Pro Bowl receiver there, Rodney Holman. He'll hold on to most of them, but Claiborne did a great job.
That's good defense, making it 2nd and 10. Brooks. James Brooks reels off about 8 yards on his first carry of the day. Mike Johnson comes up to make the tackle, but a big gainer on the trap play to Brooks, who missed practice the last 2 days because his mother is seriously ill, but a good run on his first carry. Cleveland lines up defensively this way. Michael Dean Perry anchors that 4-man front. He has 11.5 sacks. He's headed to the Pro Bowl. Mike Johnson leads the Browns in tackles. He had 14 last week. The Cleveland Dime has 6 defensive backs. Braggs and Harper replaced linebackers Grayson and Johnson. And corners Minifield and Claiborne have been to a combined 7 Pro Bowls. Ickey Woods with his first carry. Close to the first down. They only needed a yard. Mike Johnson and Van Waiters, who's in at a linebacker spot, stop Ickey Woods after the short game.
Well, Cincinnati had seen Pittsburgh have success running at Cleveland's left side. Ickey Woods couldn't get up in there this time. Look how Cleveland gets off of that ball and just stuffs it. Rob Burnett from Syracuse shoots through there first, but here they're just fighting their way into the backfield. Excellent. Mike Johnson, just excellent defense.
And Lee Johnson is on to punt as Cleveland holds Cincinnati just inches away from the first down. Brian Brennan is deep for the Browns after a good kick by Johnson. Brennan takes it at the 23, dodges a couple of tacklers and falls forward to the 36-yard line. 50-yard punt. Johnson's first effort of the day, and the 2 teams sputtering on offense so far. It'd be a good day to have the rain gear concession. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath at a rainy Riverfront Stadium. No score with 11:02 left in the first quarter. Must-win game for the Bengals if they hope to make the playoffs. They must win and then get some help. Pagel fakes to Metcalf and rolls to his right. Newsom, great catch, then he lost it. Picked up by the Bengals, picked up by Lewis Phillips, but they say no, incomplete. So I don't know if that ball's slippery or not, but there have been about 3 or 4 instances today where the ball was apparently caught and then dropped.
It is slippery. Pagel puts the ball just past linebacker Kevin Walker, 59, who's in good shape, but the ball is perfectly thrown, and Ozzie Newsome just can't quite hold on to that slick ball. You see the water splashing around there by these guys' feet. The ball is wet. It is hard to hold on to, and that's one of the few we've ever seen Ozzie Newsome drop.
There haven't been many. The all-time...
The replay official is reviewing the play.
They're reviewing the play, and Newsome is the all-time leading tight end receiver in the NFL. 662 receptions now.
With the clock put 15 seconds up on the 25-second clock. Move it up to 15.
Okay, they told us to change the clock. Ozzie Newsome obviously never had control of that ball at any time.
After review by the replay official, the call stands. 2nd down.
Yeah, they're booing, and I feel a little awkward, too. We've slowed the game down twice now for calls that, you know, no one in this whole house questioned that both of those balls were incomplete.
Well, they don't want to make any mistakes. The Cincinnati Bengals have the playoffs perhaps riding on the game, but it did appear to be 2 obvious incompletions that were reviewed, and the call stood. Pagel's pass is too high, intended for Slaughter. Looked like Slaughter turned in. Pagel expected him to go out, and it'll be incomplete. Here's our 10-minute ticker as Lohmiller with a 37-yard field goal gets the Redskins off on top of Buffalo. Buffalo looking for a sweep of NFC teams this season. Giants over New England. Look at Indianapolis. They have a chance to win their last 3 games, and they lead the playoff-bound Dolphins in Miami. Here at Riverfront, we're scoreless, 10:49 remaining in the first quarter, and the Browns facing a 3rd and 10. Cincinnati with 6 defensive backs, their dime defense. Pagel looks one way, changes his mind, and goes deep. Incomplete. Barney Bussey had a chance for the interception. Rod Jones was back there also as Brennan was sandwiched by defenders, and the Bengals knock it away.
Good pass protection afforded Pagel. Pagel tries to go deep downfield. Bussey has the best chance of catching this ball, number 27, and it slips through his hand. Sure, it's wet out there.
Barney Bussey drew praise from Sam Weiss yesterday, saying he'd had a terrific year. Unsung hero for the Bengals. Wagner to punt to Price. Sails to Price. He lets it bounce, and it takes a Cleveland bounce inside the 20-yard line. So Cincinnati will begin with their second possession inside their 20 after a 43-yard punt. Browns and Bengals playing through a scoreless first quarter so far. This is a series that is more than just a matchup between 2 Ohio teams. It's a rivalry felt by citizens in both cities. Boomer told us yesterday he shuddered to think what he'd have to listen to if they lost this game. They have to win it, he said, for the city, for the fans, and for their owner, meaning Paul Brown, who had the bitter disagreement with Art Modell and lost his job as the Browns head coach back in '61. James Brooks ridden out of bounds as a fight breaks out on the sideline between Brooks and the man who knocked him out, Raymond Claiborne.
Unfortunately, the guy that retaliates is usually the one that gets caught, and Brooks kind of retaliated because either Claiborne or one of the other Browns pushed Brooks when they didn't need to. It was out of bounds. It wasn't bad, but you could tell the emotional level is up. These teams don't like one another.
And it looks like Anthony Munoz a bit shaken up on the play, Joe. Now Munoz, number 78, has his helmet off, and look at the pain on his face.
Oh, he has that torn rotor cuff in his left shoulder. He said he's going to try to play, but it does hurt him. Now, Anthony told me before the game, the doctor said it's not going to get worse. It's going to hurt you, but we wouldn't let you play if we thought you could injure it and make it worse. But you can tell, folks, it hurts him awful bad.
Many say he is the greatest offensive lineman ever to play the game. Certainly, he is among those that have been on that offensive line, have toiled so long and hard, and he has been a great one. Elected this year to the Pro Bowl for the 10th time. Kirk Scrafford, a rookie, replaces him at left tackle. Here's Brooks across the 25 to the 26-yard line, tackled there by Van Waiters, who's seeing a lot of action at outside linebacker for the Browns today. There's Scrafford. Scrafford is 6'6", 255 pounds, a rookie out of Montana, who came in last week to see NFL action for the first time as he replaced Munoz, signed as a free agent, twice All-Big Sky Conference, and just activated before the Houston game a week ago. So nearly a raw rookie replacing an All-Pro in the Cincinnati offensive line. 3rd and 3 in a play-action pass. Plenty of time for Boomer. And a sliding catch made by McGee. Tim McGee on his backside makes the grab in front of Frank Minifield for 12 yards and a Cincinnati first down.
Beautiful pass, low and away. McGee's able to make the catch. Esiason makes the play fake to freeze the linebackers up there. You see Van Waiters 50 bit on the fake. Now there's McGee running behind Waiters, makes a nice catch, and well, it's a first down.
McGee shut out against the Oilers a week ago. Second leading receiver on the season. That's his 41st catch. Play action again. Caught by Brown. And Eddie Brown is down to the 42-yard line. Finally, Clay Matthews catches up to him. But a 19-yard gain. Boomer to Brown and another Bengal first down.
A-action pass once again. Freezes the defense of the Browns, the secondary people looking inside. McGee is deep and open. Eddie Brown crossing the middle and open. Nice catch. Good play for these Bengals.
That's the 300th career reception for Eddie Brown, who, despite missing 2 games this season, is Cincinnati's leading receiver, his 43rd catch of the year. From the 43, first down Cincinnati, scoreless first quarter. Boomer again on the play action. Tipped in the air and intercepted. Intercepted by Van Waiters. Waiters rumbles into Bengal territory to the 45-yard line. First interception by Van Waiters, who was recruited to play in Indiana by Sam Weiss when he was the Hoosier coach. And Waiters on the tipped ball makes the Cleveland interception.
Good play by Van Waiters. Now, Eddie Brown was complaining, thinking that he was interfered with before the ball got there. Esiason, pretty good fake. Now, let's see if you can see Van Waiters hit Eddie Brown before the ball gets there. That's what his complaint is. Looks like a good defensive play to me. Nice recovery by Van Waiters.
Good hands by Van Waiters, giving Cleveland a Cincinnati turnover and a first down at the Bengal 45. 7:51 remaining first quarter, 0-0. Hagel's pass almost intercepted. Fulcher made a diving attempt at it as the ball came up short, intended for Newsom.
Hagel made his mind up early to go to Newsom that time. Newsom actually gets knocked off his feet, but I think Hagel's really trying to stick this into Ozzie. Ozzie will be on the ground to the left of the screen. You see, there was a good defensive hit on him by 91 Carl Zander that forced Newsom to lose his footing.
On the sideline, Bernie Kosar, the Cleveland quarterback normally, who this year passed for 2,500 yards, even though most observers think he didn't have a good year. And certainly the record says he didn't have a good year. He's got a chipped thumb. Hagel's pass on target to Metcalf. Steps out of bounds at the 40-yard line. A gain of maybe 5 yards. Barney Bussey was over to cover Metcalf. Metcalf, the multi-dimensional offensive player, second leading rusher and leading receiver for the Cleveland Browns in 1990. In his second year out of Texas, his dad Terry was the all-pro running back with St. Louis and Washington. Metcalf, the featured player, along with Mack in the offense. 6 defensive backs on 3rd and 5 for Cleveland. That pass to Slaughter is a first down. Cleveland first down as Eric Thomas takes Slaughter down, but he had just enough for the first down by maybe a yard to spare. And Cleveland keeps the drive going as Hagel hits Slaughter.
Well, on the right side of the screen, Slaughter's going to slide in. Look at his pass protection, though, folks. Here's Slaughter getting inside of Eric Thomas. The big plus, if they're a good plus for this Cleveland team, is the offensive line has been improving as the season has gone on. Look at this pass protection right now afforded Hagel.
Cleveland, the sharper team here in the early going, despite that 3-win, 12-loss record. Kevin Mack, though, thrown back for the black-shirted Bengal defenders there. Skip McClendon, Kevin Walker leading the Cincinnati Charge. This has been a nightmare season for the Browns, and in that 34-0 loss to Pittsburgh, they just looked desperately overmatched, 35-0. And Art Modell, their owner, after that game this week said a lot of the players you see now will not be back next year. Some of the players have not been pulling their load, not keeping in the Browns' tradition, and he doesn't think they belong. So coaches and players all being evaluated. One report said all the assistants have been told to look for other jobs. Jim Schaffner, the acting head coach, is going to move up to the front office. It could be a clean sweep. Metcalf gets to the 30, a gain of 3. David Fulcher, who is very strong against the run, came up to stop Metcalf from his strong safety spot.
I was talking to the Cleveland coaches earlier, and Zeke Bukowski in particular told me that Dale Sharpton said, you know, this is kind of like being a substitute teacher in high school with these guys here. You know, the class knows the teacher's not going to stay. They can go on and perform the way they want. They're not that disciplined. And that's That's a pretty good description. Schaffner and his staff are kind of like substitute teachers, and this class of students, pupils, they're not really doing their best.
3rd and 7 for Cleveland, facing the nickel defense. Pitch it to Mack. He's got a convoy of blockers. Kevin Mack lowers his head and pounds to the 15-yard line for a Cleveland first down. Tim Crumry got through all the white shirts finally to make the tackle, but Kevin Mack, power running, good blocking, Cleveland first down.
That's one of the pupils, folks, that does his best every time he gets his hands on the ball. Kevin Mack gets outside. Brian Brennan makes a good block up there to give Mack the corner, and then Mack just puts his head down and bulls ahead.
Spot the ball at the 18-yard line of Cincinnati. First down, Cleveland. Scoreless first quarter, 4.5 minutes left. Metcalf. That's not his strong suit. Running up the middle is not what Eric Metcalf is good at. You need to give him some room. And the offensive line stuffed by Crumry. Then Fulcher comes up to help out from the secondary, and nothing there for Metcalf.
Well, you're right. Right up the middle. Mike Babb, the center. Rakosi, the right guard. Here you see Tam pulling. Tam never gets up the field. Zander comes in clean to make the play. Had Tam been able to get outside, maybe they had something, but you know, Metcalf has got to be able to get through that first line of defense to do his thing, to put the moves down on the linebackers and the defensive backs.
2nd and 10. Mack. Inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Tackled by Fulcher. Let's go to Bob Costas for an update.
All right, Tom, Miami at home against Indianapolis, trailing 7-0 after a Jeff George to Albert Bentley touchdown pass, but Marino gets it right back. Sammy Smith slips out of the backfield. He hits him over the middle. 53 yards later, he's in the end zone, and the game is tied at 7. Tom?
All right, Bob. Dan Marino and Jeff George, the young quarterback of the Colts, whom some have compared to Marino, dueling down in Miami. Here we're scoreless. It's 3rd and 6 coming up for the Browns. 4 wide receivers in the game. This is their quarters formation. Pagel has a man wide open. Slaughter. Webster. Slaughter. Out of bounds at the 1-foot line. Dragging Bussey and Phillips with him.
Excellent job by Pagel, and Slaughter getting wide open. Not a man around Slaughter when he catches this ball to be on the right of your screen. Once again, great pass protection. Look how open Slaughter is. Now he's going to try to beat Phillips into the end zone. You know, this is exactly what Cleveland wants to have happen, and certainly Cincinnati does it. Cleveland's going to be in this game. They're going to have the lead. They're going to be awful tough with the lead.
Leroy Horde has replaced Metcalf. He's in the backfield with Mack. And the give is to Horde, who is thrown back. Leroy Horde, the rookie second-round draft choice out of Michigan, stuffed at the line of scrimmage with another rookie, Bernard Clark, leading the defense for Cincinnati. That's Clark, number 57.
Good hard hit by the Bengals over there on the right side. Watch Clark, 57, boom, meets him right there at the 1-yard line, pushes him back, wouldn't give him any more yards. Watch where he meets him, folks, and then he's going to see him push Horde back, along with some help from his friends right there. James Francis, number 50.
2nd and goal from the 1. Mack. Same result. James Francis, rookie linebacker from Baylor, led the charge of the Bengals that time. Francis, number 50, leading tackler for Cincinnati, met Mack at the pass. 2 power runs have netted nothing on goal line situations for Cleveland.
These kind of plays, it's who wants it most. You don't see anybody. There's one white jersey in the end zone, but there's Francis making the play. The only white jersey in the end zone was away from the play.
Metcalf has come back in at a wide receiver. Quarters formation, 2 wides to either side. Mack the only setback. Play action, no, it's Kevin Mack, and he's stopped again short of the goal line. 3 power runs up the middle have gotten not 1 inch.
And the Cleveland Browns will make it 4 because there's no way they're going to go for a field goal here.
Grant and Fulcher stacked up the middle of the line that time. And apparently Cleveland has taken a timeout. I see or perhaps a player injured. I see the trainers coming on the field, and Kevin Mack a little shaken up. So Jim Schaffner sees his best running back now out of commission.
25, not 26. 25 seconds.
Gene Barth shaving it down to the second on the play clock.
The last play, Mack gets the ball and tries to fight his way into the end zone, but David Grant meets him first, and then Jason Buck, 99, gets in there along with the rest of his teammates.
Derek Gaynor now has replaced Mack as the lone setback. 4th and goal. Gaynor. No signal. The Bengals hold. The Cincinnati Bengals with a goal line stand, turning back the Browns that close to the end zone. A long drive after the interception, stopped inches away from the goal line. That play was reviewed by instant replay, and they said it was inconclusive. I think they're going to change the football right here, Joe.
Yeah, they could do that. The center can ask him to do that if it's wet or has some substance on it. He wants to get off.
I think they gained about 6 inches on that exchange. First down, Cincinnati inside the 1. Cleveland turned away after 4 running plays. Boomer rolling. Jumps over one man and then out of bounds at about the 9-yard line. Just a yard short of the first down on a scramble by Boomer Esiason. Thane Gash forced him out. Here's that 4th down run again by Cleveland's Derek Gaynor.
Watch number 27, Barney Bussey, and 33, David Fulcher. They both get in there. It's Fulcher's, I guess, his hit that really stopped Gaynor from getting across that goal line or breaking the plane. Watch again. You see 27 get awful close. Gaynor is close, but the official said no, he didn't break the plane of the goal line.
So now we see if Cleveland can keep their enthusiasm after some adversity as time runs out in the first quarter. We will get this play off. Ickey Woods on the carry, stopped by Mike Johnson in the final play of the first quarter. That's the end of 1 at Riverfront Stadium. The Browns and Bengals are scoreless. In the game would have a large part to play in the outcome. What's the Cleveland mental attitude now?
Well, right now, if Cleveland's defense can hold Cincinnati, the offense is going to be enthused about coming back out on that field. If Cincinnati's able to maintain a drive, Cleveland's offense, when they come back, I've got to believe they're going to be lethargic. They're not going to have their hearts into it as much as they would had they scored.
The mental state of this Cleveland team very fragile with all the adversity they've suffered this season. The Bengals with a first down from their own 18-yard line. Ickey Woods with another big run. Woods is to the 33-yard line. Spun down there by Felix Wright, but it's a 15-yard gain, and maybe the Browns have given up after being turned away from the goal line.
Well, there's a huge hole for Ickey Woods on the left side of your screen. He's going to cut back to the left. Nice blocking on Eddie Johnson that time. And Woods, I tell you, he's got some explosiveness, Tom. I haven't seen him run that hard or hit a hole that quick as of recent. It seems to me that he's got some bounce back in his gait.
He missed the first 6 games on injured reserve. He's played in 9 games this season. He's starting his 5th today. Brooks tries to make it. Evades one tackler and turns not much into about a 3-yard gain. And a fight breaking out. That's Boomer Esiason said to us yesterday, Joe, it'll just take one cheap shot by either team and a fight will break out. And we've seen that a couple of times already. There is a penalty marker down.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 30 defense, 15-yard penalty, and a first down. Team from here.
guilty of the unnecessary roughness, and they'll step it off against Cleveland. That'll put the ball across midfield to the Brown 49-yard line, as the penalties have been a problem, the third most penalized team in the NFL this season. Cincinnati Bengals lining up in that sugar huddle only a couple of yards back to the line of scrimmage, and they're ready to go on first down. Riggs in motion. Ickey Woods breaks to the outside. He has a 4-yard gain before he's knocked down by Van Waiters. Let's update you on the scores now. Washington's lead 6-0, 2 Low Miller field goals. Minnesota on top of the 49ers. The Giants with a field goal lead only on the hapless Patriots. And Miami now has a 14-7 advantage over Indianapolis after the Colts had been up 7-0. Esiason is sacked. The ball's loose, and the Browns have it. Penalty flag down as the play got underway. Van Waiters recovers the fumble. He had an interception earlier.
Number 90, defense. Line up offside.
Rob Burnett, the rookie out of Syracuse, lined up offside, nullifying a Brown fumble recovery.
Well, maybe that explains why he got there so quickly. That's 98, Pleasant. 90, another rookie. Pleasant is also a rookie.
Line up in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty. Replay the second down.
Okay, so he lined up in the neutral zone, a rookie mistake. Number 90 on this replay, you can see lined up in the neutral zone. His head is out over the ball. Now, he's the one that's going to make the hit on Boomer that forces the ball loose. Don't you know that he wished he was back on sides? A good hit by the rookie Burnett.
Boy, what else can happen to this Cleveland team? 2nd and 3 now for the Bengals from the 42 of Cleveland. Woods stopped short of the 40, not enough for a first down. Anthony Pleasant, the rookie out of Tennessee State, got there in a hurry to stop Ickey Woods.
Sure, these Cleveland Browns, the defense has been playing with Anthony Pleasant at defensive end along with Burnett, another rookie. You really don't expect rookies to do very well here in the NFL. They're giving Burnett and Pleasant a chance to show what they can do. And it's a golden opportunity for Burnett and Pleasant to show that these are the defensive linemen that the Browns can win with. So far, they haven't shown that.
They've allowed the most points in the NFL, have the Browns. 3rd and 1. Boomer on the sneak. Didn't need much, and they spotted enough for the first down.
Let's take a look at this offensive line firing off the ball. Look, nice drive forward. First down easily. At least it looks that way. I know it was a lot of hard work for Boomer and his mates up front.
We're in the second quarter, 11:40 left. Boomer has rushed twice today, and we're still scoreless. The Bengals turning away the Browns on 4th and goal from the 1. Cleveland had
25 seconds, please.
Cleveland had 4 chances at it, 4 running plays to get a yard, and they couldn't do it. Sam Weiss and his Bengals must win today. A loss eliminates them from playoff contention. They can win the divisional championship if they win over Cleveland, and Houston beats Pittsburgh tonight. Penalty marker stopped that play before it got going.
Illegal snap, foul on the center. He jerked the ball before the snap. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, Bruce Kazerski with a little false start. Let's see.
Yep, right there. Little pump. He have to make one motion, folks. You can't snap that ball with two motions unless it's a punt. A long snap, he's allowed to pick it up here, but when it's not in the kicking game, it has to be one continuous motion.
First and 15 now for Cincinnati as Kuzerski lines up over the ball again. Brooks, penalty flag down. Brooks took a savage hit. The ball came loose, and Cleveland has it again. Stephen Braggs recovers the fumble, but another penalty.
Waiters, number 50 on James Brooks.
Defense line up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty.
Unbelievable. That's what Jim Schaffner's saying. Twice, Rob Burnett is lined up in the neutral zone.
Defense line up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
And twice it has nullified Cleveland fumble recovery.
I mean, that's inexcusable. Schaffner has to, he's got to wonder, what is this Burnett doing? All he has to do is look down the line, but you see, he can't see past Clay Matthews, his inside linebacker. That's what problem Burnett is having.
Brooks passes back to Boomer. Boomer's going to run with it, and he won't get anything. He'll be stopped for a loss on the play as they had double coverage on Tim McGee downfield. Tom Gibson finally gets to Esiason.
Good defense downfield by Raymond Claiborne that time. Did not leave a receiver that was running down there. You know, coaches ask defensive backs, hey, if you see a receiver running downfield here, stay with him. He's down here for a reason. That time, the receiver was kind of loafing around, McGee was, and then he burst past Claiborne, but not far enough for Boomer to get the ball to him.
0-0 game. Boomer in the flat. Tackle on Brooks just beyond the 40-yard line by Clay Matthews. Let's check in again with Bob Costas.
All right, Tom, no scoring in Cincinnati, but plenty in Miami. After another Sammy Smith touchdown, this time a 1-yard run, gave Miami a 14-7 lead. Jeff George sets up in the pocket, sidearms this bullet to Jesse Hester, who takes off, then makes a nice inside move, avoiding the last potential tackler. 64-yard touchdown, even up at 14.
Thanks, Bob. Here at Riverfront, we're still pitching a shutout. Browns and the Bengals scoreless, 9:27 and counting in the first half. Cleveland had an opportunity. They've also had two fumble recoveries nullified by penalties. Boomer. Off the hands of Eddie Brown and incomplete. The pass a little too high. Brown couldn't handle it. Stephen Braggs was covering on the play. It'll bring up fourth down.
Boomer's a little frustrated. Good defense that time by the secondary once again of these Browns. Esiason had time to throw that time. He just couldn't get it to Eddie Brown. Had the ball been lower, could have been a completion.
Lee Johnson's first punt, an excellent one, as you see. Brian Brennan deep for the Browns. Looks like Cincinnati's just going to let the play clock run down and take a delay of game, giving Johnson an extra 5 yards. There's the call. Gives Johnson a little more room to try to down it inside the 20. He has 11 inside the 20 this season. He's kicked it 6 times for touchback, averaging 42 yards a kick coming in.
That's the only thing. Cleveland can refuse that penalty, which they did, so he doesn't have that extra 5 yards to get the ball in. It seems to me Cincinnati want to conserve time and have as much playing time as possible against Cleveland's team.
They're the stronger team. You think they'd want to do that. Great coverage here, though. Look at this. Great coverage for the Bengals. Lynn James was downfield waiting for the low punt by Johnson, and James downs it short of the 2-yard line. This punt just down short of the 2-yard line where Cleveland takes over. The Browns and the Bengals scoreless with 8:47 left in the half. Pagel will pass to him. Screen play. Metcalf makes a nifty little move, gets to the outside, and is finally spun out of bounds. Marty Bussey got Metcalf out of bounds, but the Browns go to the screen, and it works to Metcalf for a first down.
Nice pass by Pagel, faking the run to Mack first and then hitting Metcalf. Metcalf has Farron 74 out front. Webster Slaughter 84 is doing a nice job downfield of blocking the cornerback Thomas.
10-yard gain and first down for Cleveland. They jump off sides, though. That'll set the Browns back. Another penalty against Cleveland.
74 offense. False start.
Paul Farron.
Still first down.
Paul Farron on the offside. The false start. Hard to believe this is a Cleveland team that had been to the playoffs 5 straight years before this season.
But what happened? Pagel's going on an early count. Farron must have heard someone else make a noise. That happens sometimes. And he jumps offside. That was an early count that time, and Farron just got a hair itchy.
Double early for Paul Farron. Now first and 15 from the Cleveland 8. Mack's pass was tipped. He managed to catch it and then pounds out to the 10-yard line. That was nearly a disaster. Skip McClendon tipped the football. Mack caught it and then managed to get back out to the 10.
Oh, sure. McClendon on the right side of the screen. He nearly makes a great play here. He gets his hand on it, but here's Mack, gets the good bounce, and then he gets behind Tam and just puts his head down to bull forward. Boy, Cleveland has had a couple of extreme locations on the field so far. You know, first and goal from the one going in, and then they're backed up on the 1-yard line fighting their way out.
Pagel may be changing the play. He's in the shotgun. Pass intercepted. Touchdown, James Francis. The former football and basketball player at Baylor, first-round draft choice. The rookie takes the interception and waltzes 17 yards for the touchdown. Jim Breach will try the extra point. Cincinnati's defense strikes first. Francis with the interception in return for the touchdown, 7-0. Rookie James Francis, first interception, first pro touchdown.
Pagel gets good protection, but he doesn't throw this bar out far enough. The ball is underthrown slightly, and James Francis stretches out there and makes a nice hands-on catch and takes it home. Country come to town. That's what Sam Weiss likes to call young James Francis. Here again, you see Francis reach out there. Very quiet young man, but he gets fired up when he gets on a football field. Now watch Pagel. Does he know that this ball's thrown behind? Watch, whoop, yeah, I better get over there and cover. Sure, Pagel knew that that was a bad pass as soon as he threw it.
Bengals kicking from the 30 after a 5-yard penalty for a demonstration, and Metcalf picks it up. Eric Metcalf, flag down. Metcalf is to the 46-yard line. Great return by Eric Metcalf. Eric Ball finally stops him after a 34-yard return. Let's check the penalty flag.
Illegal block in the back on number 55 during the run back. 10-yard penalty and be a first down.
Well, Jim Schaffner has got to wonder what else can happen to his team. 4th and goal from the 1. He was stopped.
I'll be up at half.
2 penalties of nullified turnovers that his team had recovered. And now a great run back by Metcalf will be nullified.
Yes, Metcalf gets up in there. Right there's a block to to, I guess, number 32's back, but Jock Jones is the one who was guilty of the clip.
The Browns continue to be their own worst enemy.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Oldsmobile. Stop by your Oldsmobile dealer and see what's new from the new generation of Olds. By the Upjohn Company. If you're concerned about hair loss, see your doctor. By Northwest Airlines. Northwest's World Perks free travel program lets you fly free fast. And by Miller Lite, with a reminder to please think when you drink this holiday season.
Some of the rain gear looks better than others, I noticed, as the rain continues to pelt down at Riverfront. Here's Pagel's pass to Kevin Mack. Mack survives one hit, and they say he stepped out of bounds. Kevin Mack lowered his shoulder to take that hit. Joe, we've seen all these costly penalties, failure to execute down on the goal line. Is this a result of the uncertain coaching situation and a result of a poor team getting worse, just a lack of discipline?
No doubt about it. Throughout the season, you hear coaches and players talk about being focused, concentrating on the job. Hey, Cleveland has known their season's over now for several weeks. Most of these players have their clothes packed, the trunks of their cars packed, the telephone bills paid. They're out of town. They have a lot of things on their mind other than football.
2nd and 4, Eric Metcalf to the 30-yard line. They only got a yard on that one as Leon White came up to stop him. Meanwhile, Anthony Munoz, the all-pro offensive lineman of the Bengals, has headed to the locker room. He was shaken up earlier in the game and has gone inside. Update on the scores. Not much change there. New England has tied the Giants. Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, that would be really something.
A sellout at Foxborough today because of all the Giant fans getting there. They'd only be averaging 20,000 people or so. A rainy day in Cincinnati finds the Bengals up on Cleveland 7-0. 5.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Swing it to Mack. Kevin Mack has a first down as he pounds across the 35, and James Francis holding on gets into the turf.
You won't see James Francis knocked on his back very often, folks. Remember this one. Of course, he's hit by Mack, who runs like a truck. Watch number 34 on the left of the screen take the ball. He's going to put that shoulder right into James Francis, who is in a high position, a little off balance, and then just gets set back on his backside.
With 5 minutes left, the first down for Cleveland, trailing 7-0. Pagel changes the play, now splits Metcalf and Mack. Brennan was open, the ball tipped and intercepted. Bussey has it. Barney Bussey takes it back to the Cleveland 38-yard line. Second time today, Pagel has been intercepted. That one came on a tipped ball. I think Billups tipped it and Bussey intercepted it. Barney Bussey with his 4th interception of the season, giving him the Cincinnati lead. Bussey's 4th pickoff puts the Bengals in good shape. Lewis Billups with the jacket on and the baseball cap, celebrating a tipped ball that his teammate Barney Bussey picked off for the interception. Billups made the play. Bussey finished it off. First down, Cincinnati. They lead Cleveland 7-0. 4:46 left in the first half. Cincinnati begins from the 39 of the Browns. Not much on the running play to Brooks there, wrapped up by Rob Burnett, who's trying to make up for 2 offside penalties that nullified 2 Cincinnati fumble losses.
Let's take a look at that interception. They call it a football team, a team game, right? Well, on the right side, Lewis Billups is going to cut in front of Brian Brennan and tip that ball. You see that? He gets both hands on it. And right here, cleaning up on the tip is Barney Bussey. Yes, it's a team game. You do your part, I'll do mine, and we'll come out on top.
And the Bengals trying to take advantage of the turnover. The only score in the game came on a Francis interception return for a touchdown. Woods corralled in the backfield and ridden down for a gain of maybe 1. Looked like he was going to lose a couple. He did manage to get a yard out of it. Anthony Pleasant and Van Waiters combining on the tackle. Waiters is having a good game.
Yes, he is. You've got to like the effort by this Cleveland Brown defense. Even though I haven't seen Michael Dean Perry or heard his name on any tackles yet, you can bet that Cincinnati is double teaming Perry, the Pro Bowler. This defense of the Browns has played well today.
3rd and 7 for Cincinnati. The clock ticking down to the 3.5-minute mark. Boomer's pass to Brooks. Brooks got away from Matthews and has a first down. Clay Matthews was one-on-one with the elusive James Brooks, and Brooks wins the battle for the Cincinnati first down.
Clay Matthews played this perfectly to a point. He knows Brooks is going to try and juke him. Watch Clay Matthews slow down. He breaks down. Good position, perfect football position, but James Brooks is special. He ducks right under that tackle. All James Brooks. Excellent position. Once again, a wide stance by Clay Matthews. That's textbook defense, except for the fact he couldn't get his hands on James Brooks.
Pro Bowl against Pro Bowl, 2 veterans that have been to the Pro Bowl during their careers. In fact, Brooks a little steamed he's not going this year. He has a chance to pass 1,000 yards rushing today. He didn't think Bo Jackson should go. He thought he should have been there. Tom Gibson stacks that one up from the outset. Ickey Wood stopped for no gain. Well, here's some of the headlines from today's NFL Live. Will McDonough reported that Joe Gibbs has reached an agreement on a new contract with the Redskins. Kansas City coach Marty Schottenheimer doesn't expect the Raiders to lose today. He's preparing to face Miami in the wild card. Mike Ditka told a Chicago radio station that he's undecided on his starting quarterback for his wild card game. And of course, coming up at halftime, the gang with scores and highlights. And there will be an interview with Rocket Ismail on the chances of him entering the draft next spring. 2-minute warning. We'll be back. The rain is increased in intensity at Riverfront Stadium as we get set to play the final 2 minutes of the first half, with the Bengals leading the Browns 7-0 on the strength of a 17-yard interception and return by rookie linebacker James Francis. Sam Weiss knows he has to have this win today to have a chance for the playoffs, needs to win, and then finds himself in the uncomfortable position of rooting for the Oilers tonight.
I'll bet he never thought he'd have to do that.
2nd and 11 for Cincinnati. Short pass by Boomer, complete to Brown. Eddie Brown collared at the 22 and ridden down by Mike Johnson. Cincinnati up on the line, and now they'll assemble in their sugar huddle, which is just 3 yards back of the football. There you see that sugar huddle, how close it is to the line of scrimmage. Most teams line up how far, Joe?
7 yards.
7 yards?
And it varies depending on how the coach feels when he puts it in.
3rd down play. Boomer for the end zone. Holman, touchdown. With his 5th touchdown catch of the season, and Grease will try to make it 14-0. That's good. So 2 Cleveland interceptions have led to 2 Cincinnati touchdowns. Francis takes one in after the kickoff. And here the interception leads to a touchdown pass, 22 yards, Boomer to Holman, and it's 14-0.
The Pro Bowl tight end Rod Rodney Holman is a big target, often used on the left side of the screen. 82 gets downfield. Now Felix Wright and Thane Gash, neither one of them can contain Rodney Holman. He runs between Gash and Felix Wright both. Good pass protection up front, once again afforded Boomer Esiason.
Boomer very businesslike as he hits one of his favorite targets, Rodney Holman. Both Boomer and Holman, talking to us yesterday, said that the fact that the Browns had won only 3 games couldn't influence their thinking. They had to approach it as a must-win game, the must-win game that it actually is. And they couldn't let their success against Houston a week ago keep them from being mentally into today's game. Cincinnati started a little slowly today, and thanks to some help from the ineptness of the Browns, they're now taking a 14-0 lead.
Well, you know, again, you mentioned earlier, Cincinnati did lose to Atlanta and Indianapolis, so they're capable of losing to a poor team.
Metcalf on the bounce. All the way back across the field, and another marker down as Metcalf is tackled at the 20-yard line. Solomon Wilcox made the Cincinnati tackle. Metcalf had a fine return nullified by a penalty earlier.
Illegal blocking it back, number 24 during the run back. Half the distance to the goal line, puts the ball on about the 9-yard line.
Tony Blaylock with the illegal block, and the penalties piling up just like the rainwater for the Cleveland Browns. That lack of discipline coming to the fore again. They've been outscored by that margin, 200 points in the first half.
Yeah, there's something about knowing when to come in out of the rain or put a hat on when it's raining hard. I think Coach Shopper better get a hat on over there. This rain is really coming down.
Kevin Mack trying to show if he is a good mudder or not. He only gets a yard. David Grant wrapped him up. And Cincinnati will stop the clock with a timeout.
It'll be a 40-second timeout.
1:02 left as the Bengals stop it with a timeout. They've got Cleveland backed up to the 7. Boy, Schaffner got a chance to be an NFL head coach, and it has been understated. A nightmare. He's been an assistant, a long-time assistant, and an NFL player, and a head coach at TCU, but he told us yesterday that he really wasn't looking to be an NFL head coach. When he got the chance, he kind of got into it, and then things turned so sour that in some ways he'll be relieved when today is over. He's going to move up to the front office for the Browns next season.
Sure, he said, hey, look, obviously I'm not the answer. I would have loved to have been successful here and turn things around with this team. He said, but it's the players that have got to turn it around. He said, I can help elsewhere. They've got to turn it around themselves.
He said some veteran players needed replacing, and their replacements just haven't been good enough as Mack tries the sweep. And it's taken out of bounds, well short of first down yardage by McClendon and Francis. Schaffner also said, Joe, which was interesting, was that he did think the team had potential. He said, I'd like to have him as coach from the start.
That's right. He's changed a lot of things with the Browns, or some of them, their defensive schemes. He's lessened a bit, made less complicated, because, quite frankly, the Browns' mental part of the game is not up to par now that they've had a losing stretch.
3rd and 6 as Mack got out of bounds to save Cincinnati a timeout.
It's not supposed to work that way.
That's right. Hagel pass batted right back in his face, incomplete. Big David Grant, 6'5", 278 pounds. Getting to Pagel to knock the ball right back at him.
Right back at Pagel and right back at referee Gene Barth. Pagel gets pretty good protection up front, but once he lets this ball go, boom, there's David Grant, and there goes the ball in the other direction.
Now Wagner must punt from his own end zone. 49 seconds left in the half. Cincinnati looking for more. Wagner just got it away. Price lets it bounce, and it takes a good Cleveland bounce. One of the few good things that's happened to them in the first half. They're trying to coax it along a little bit, too. It's still rolling. He caught a tailwind. I think one of the Browns might have finally bumped it, but you can put it in the record books as a 64-yard punt, longest of the season for Wagner. Tony Blaylock was urging it along. It's finally down, but 64 yards. Well, we have on New Year's Day for you a great College Bowl excitement. You can kick off today at 1 o'clock with the Hall of Fame Bowl, which features Illinois against Clemson. Then the Fiesta Bowl, Louisville and Alabama. And then Miami for the Orange Bowl in prime time as #1 Colorado faces the 5th-ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame in a battle to determine the national championship. That's coming up New Year's Day here on NBC. James Brooks stopped at the 25, a gain of 2. We're told now that Anthony Munoz has suffered an eye injury. He's being attended to in the locker room and can return if needed. He has the injured shoulder. He got poked in the eye earlier. He could come back if they need him. And the Bengals will just let time expire. No, they won't.
You mean to tell me Cincinnati is going to have to put the ball in play again because Cleveland took a timeout? That's not bad, I guess. Cleveland Browns want to see Sam Weich's team snap the ball once again. As bad as this weather is, hey, we've seen centers and quarterbacks fumbled snaps before, and that's what Coach Schaaf and his team is counting on here.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it.
That's the only reason they've called timeout now. Make them snap it one more time to see if the quarterback and center can have a good exchange.
I'm not buying it.
Well, I don't think this man likes standing out here in the rain right now, especially with a wet head. It's a little cold.
I don't understand why they called a timeout.
Well, they want to make them snap the ball and see if they can complete that exchange without a fumble.
Okay.
If they don't, then they have a chance at a field goal, possibly.
Well, the 2 fumbles they've recovered have been nullified by penalties. So. Barring another timeout, this will be the final snap of the half. Brooks. And time will expire in the first half. Schaffner jogs off the field, trailing. It's 14-0 Cincinnati at halftime. Now for our halftime activities, let's go to Bob Costas.
Close game, but the turnovers that led to touchdowns certainly have the Bengals ahead.
And the Cleveland has had some costly penalties, too, that have nullified turnovers. There are the first half stats, Joe.
Yes, they don't show much. They look like a tight game, but once again, the turnovers that led to the 2 touchdowns, 14 points. It'll be important for Cleveland's defense to get out here this second half after the kickoff and try to halt the Bengals initially so they can get the ball. If the Bengals are able to mount a drive initially here in the second half, it's going to be a long third and fourth quarter for the Browns.
And for the broadcasters, we might add. And for Tom Roy and Brian Sheriff out in the truck.
Yeah, but I promise you, it's not longer for any of us or any of those fans than it is for these players of the Browns out there. You know they want to win the game, but now the question's going to come in, are they going to start trying to protect themselves the second half because the injury factor comes into the play? Last game of the season, some of these guys are going to be a little extra careful out there.
Eric Ball takes the second half kickoff for the Bengals and takes it to the 25-yard line where he's hit and dropped by John Talley. 19-yard return of the second half kick. Art Modell, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, is not here today. He's recovering from surgery in Cleveland. The owner of the Browns missing his first game since he acquired the team in 1961. Paul Brown is here. He recently had surgery, discharged from the hospital a couple of weeks ago. And the 82-year-old Brown, who took Cleveland to championships and founded the Cincinnati franchise, is here in attendance today. Well, the problems continue to compound for the Cleveland Browns. The Browns have called a timeout, apparently because they were missing a defensive player, Joe.
Well, I'd have to put that in the category of concentration, not having enough people out on the field. Boomer Esiason and Sam, you know, they want to get things started out there, and the Bengals are anxious to get this offense going. They're anxious about the playoffs. On the other hand, the Browns are anxious to get this season over with.
Jim Schaffner has seen just about everything that can go wrong happen to him in the first half, and the second half begins on a poor note for his team. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League and intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Bengals and the National Football League is prohibited. This game the property of the National Football League, Cincinnati Bengals and Cleveland Browns, all rights reserved. Esiason pass right to the Browns, picked off by Felix Wright. And Felix Wright is back to the 15-yard line of Cincinnati, where he's tackled by Eddie Brown.
Well, Boomer will make a game out of this thing. I tell you, he's just making a game out of it right now. Esiason, with one of his very poorest of decisions, throws the ball directly to Felix Wright, number 22 on the right side of your screen. It looks like he's the designated receiver. Obviously, Boomer Esiason didn't see Felix Wright laying in the grass.
So Felix Wright with the interception. That's his third of the season. And finally, Cleveland gets a Cincinnati turnover without a penalty. First down, Browns at the 20 of Cincinnati. Straight ahead, Kevin Mack bouncing all the way to the 4-yard line. Barney Bussey finally covering Mack, who was ripping through would-be tacklers to give the Browns another first and goal.
Jones, 66, makes a nice block, and then Bussey's able just to knock the left leg out from underneath Mack before he finds the end zone.
They'll spot the ball back at the 6-yard line, and Mack takes off again. Hit for the center of the line. He's to the 3. Now remember, in the first half, in a scoreless game, Cleveland had it first and goal at the 1. 4 straight running plays netted not 1 inch.
Well, you know, in the process of elimination, I guess Cleveland found out what plays won't work.
I don't know. That was one they just tried right there.
So now they'll try some new plays, possibly one that will get them in the end zone.
Schaffner trying to find the combination to reach the end zone. Mack. Cleveland touchdown.
We mentioned earlier, Tom Mack. I mean, Kevin Mack, that's one man that there is no quit in on this Cleveland Brown bunch. They have a nucleus on the Browns still with Bernie Kosar, Kevin Mack, some players that bounce this team back next season, and you can see Mack fighting his way through there. No quit at all in Kevin Mack.
Well, it has to feel good for Schaffner and company. They shake off a poor first half of missed opportunities, get the interception, and get the touchdown. Now for the extra point. Eric Korick boots it through. So Cleveland intercepts a Boomer pass. All 3 scores in the game. A result of interceptions. 14-7 Cincinnati.
Coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. By McDonald's. You know the one. It's McDonald's for food, folks, and fun. By TWA, the only airline that lets you fly business class for the price of coach. And by Tylenol Cold. Nobody cares for your cold like Tylenol Cold.
Here's the kickoff. Bouncing to Stanford Jennings at the 10. Jennings twists his way to the 30-yard line, where he's upended by Jock Jones on special teams coverage after a 20-yard return. Well, Sam Weiss, and I believe, Joe, his team's a little flat today. Even though they must win for the playoffs, they just don't seem so sharp. They're 14 points more a result of Cleveland ineptitude than it is Cincinnati sharpness.
That's right, and you can see the concern on Sam Weiss's face right now. Another turnover here is going to put Cleveland back in the game, or even if Cleveland's defense plays well, they'll have a chance. Look at this right now. There's a turnover. No. Oh, William Dean Perry just got in there to smother Ricky Woods that time.
The ball will be ruled down. No fumble, but it is a loss on the play of 5 yards as Ricky Woods has stopped in his tracks.
There you see William Dean Perry just fight right through the block to catch Ricky Woods deep in the end zone that time. Michael Dean Perry, go get him.
Esiason's pass, short hops McGee, the intended receiver. It's incomplete. Rob Burnett putting the pressure on Boomer and took him down just as he released the football.
Oh, Burnett hit Boomer just as he let the ball go. Plenty of time, but here you see him hit him after the ball is gone. These kind of hits will wear a quarterback out by the time you get to the fourth quarter. But Boomer aside, and I've said in the past, he's one of the toughest quarterbacks in the entire league.
He's hit on 50% of his passes today. 3rd and 15. Now the coverage breaks down, but Boomer finds Woods, who drops it. Incomplete.
Cincinnati's doing everything to keep Cleveland in the hunt. People are booing. Boomer's shaking his head. Good pass protection for Esiason, but the receivers are covered downfield. He's being harassed back there in the pocket, and then Ickey Woods just takes his eyes off the ball. He wouldn't have gotten the first down anyway.
Well, there's Burnett along with Pleasant putting the pressure on Boomer, and they've forced a punting situation. Johnson kicking to Brennan. Brian Brennan taken down at the 48-yard line of Cleveland. Great field position for the Browns. When we come back, it's a 14-7 Bengal lead.
This lady came in the other day. Some station downtown.
Forbidding the year too fond of farewell. Alka-Seltzer, the other holiday tradition.
NBC Sports kicks off a new year with a Hall of Fame Bowl as Clemson battles Illinois. Then Louisville takes on Alabama in the Fiesta Bowl. And it's a primetime showdown of the Orange Bowl as #1 Colorado battles Notre Dame to decide the national championship. New Year's Day, NBC is the place to be.
On the sideline a moment ago, Sam Weiss trying to rally his offense, which has produced a turnover and a punt on 2 possessions in the second half as Cleveland continues to try to reign on the Cincinnati playoff hopes. Hagel has his man. Slaughter out of bounds at the 35-yard line. 17-yard gain and a first down. Let's go to Bob Costas.
Second half at RFK, and many of the regulars are benched for the Bills. There's nothing wrong with Frank Reich, but the third-string guy now, Gail Gilbert, is in, and he lost this one nicely to Kenneth Davis between 2 defenders. 13-yard touchdown. Bills are within striking distance, trailing now only 9-7.
All right, Bob, and here at Riverfront, the Browns trying to make a game of it. They're within 7 and moving. First down at the 35 of Cincinnati. Metcalf. Eric Metcalf squirts free for a gain of 10 before he's tripped up by Leon White. It'll be very close to the first down marker. Cleveland coming alive here in the second half after having every reason to pack it in.
Greg Riccozzi, the right guard, he's going to pull 73 and open this hole nicely right there with the block in the middle for Eric Metcalf, who jumps through the hole and makes nice yardage.
Second and less than a yard. Kevin Mack's got it and more. He's down to the 17-yard line, bumped there by Barney Bussey. As Kevin Mack bulldogs his way for first down yardage.
Some pretty big holes on the left side of the screen here. You see Mack take it back outside 98, David Grant, and then Bussey knocking the legs out from underneath Mack. But right now at the line of scrimmage, the Browns are outplaying the Bengals.
Here's a look at our Hertz 10-minute ticker with an update on all the scores. 49ers still trail, and the Giants by only a field goal. Pretty good day down in Miami, too. Metcalf, Eric Metcalf to the 15, gain of 2.5 yards. It'll be second down for Cleveland. Leon White got that tackle with help from Kevin Walker.
You know, Webster Slaughter is such a good receiver. There's Leon White, who made the tackle, 51. These Bengals know they have their backs to the wall now, but Webster Slaughter is such a fine receiver. I think they ought to be throwing him that ball more often. Slaughter's going to make a big play for it. He dropped the first pass of the game, but other than that, he's held everything thrown his way.
Browns playing without the injured Reggie Langhorne, who is replaced by Brian Brennan. Fake the Mack. Hagel for the end zone. Has his man. Brennan for the touchdown.
Okay, then don't throw it to Slaughter. Throw it to Brennan. But at least you picked the man open. Excellent pass by Hagel. Has the Browns right back in it.
Mike Pagel to Brian Brennan. The second touchdown catch of the season for Brennan. The first TD pass by Pagel.
Right side of the screen. Brennan going to get this ball. The Pagel fires past Phillips. Look, there's no one down there. Brennan beat Phillips to the inside and ends up wide open as Fulcher looks to Phillips, wondering, where did you go?
With the extra point to tie the game. Actually, the third TD toss of the season for Pagel, but his first in 2 weeks. And it's 14-14. Mike Pagel in the center of that group of Browns has found his stride, directing his team to 2 third-quarter touchdowns to tie this game, tossing his first touchdown pass in 2 weeks. Bernie Kosar, meanwhile, on the sideline with a smile on his face. He told us how much he'd love to be playing against this AFC Central rival, but he has to appreciate the job his backup has done in the second half. Jennings from the 5. Stanford Jennings almost broke it to the outside. He's tackled at the 31-yard line after a 26-yard return. Scott Galbraith made the hit for Cleveland.
You know, the turnaround now, Cleveland's defense can't wait to get on the field. These guys just sprinted out there. They're ready to go. Esiason and his offense is, well, you might say that they're a little confused right now, but the defense of Cleveland is fired up.
Well, it might be overstating it a bit, but the Browns could certainly salvage something from this season by denying the Bengals a shot at the playoffs. Brooks bouncing off tacklers. James Brooks for a gain of 5. Michael Dean Perry finally catches up to him to make the tackle, but not until Brooks had a good gain on first down. Thane Gash got a piece of the tackle as well.
I mentioned earlier how this game was swinging toward the Cleveland Browns at the line of scrimmage. Both offensive line and defensive line of the Browns has really played well this second half.
Boomer changing the play. Hands it to Woods. Clay Matthews finally catches up to Ickey Woods, fighting off a block, but Woods rambles for 20 yards, and the Bengals have a first down in Cleveland territory.
Greg Riccozzi takes down number 90 to the outside, and there's a huge hole for Ickey Woods to get through there, and he's not stopped till he makes some good yardage. By Clay Matthews, he's finally stopped.
First down Cincinnati from the Cleveland 45-yard line. The game tied 14-14 with 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Must-win game for the Bengals. Woods. Woods stopped for a gain of 3 or 4. Gibson and Burnett finally tackling Ickey Woods.
Bengals certainly making a little attitude adjustment. Mr. Paul Brown on the left of your screen with the sunglasses or the dark glasses checking things out. You know he has to be concerned. He doesn't like what he's seeing out there.
Not only would his team fail to have a chance for the playoffs with a loss, but it would be to his hated rival, the Cleveland Browns. Paul Brown, one of the great coaches in the history of the National Football League, all the professional football for that matter. Boomer has time, dumps it to Woods, had trouble catching it and gets only a short gain out of it to the 40-yard line. Mike Johnson and Van Waiters, 2 linebackers that are playing very well for the Browns defense. Sandwich Woods and get him to the turf.
Boomer's got him right at the line of scrimmage again. He doesn't want the Browns to get their third down defense onto the field.
This is the attack offense, and this is the idea of it to keep the Browns from making situational substitutions. Boomer got plenty of room to roam. Stumbles forward. I don't think he got the first down. He'll be ruled out of bounds. Well short of it. Out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Waiters and Johnson again, the key men on that Brown defense, getting Boomer out of bounds before he can run for the first down.
Excellent pursuit by the Cleveland Brown defense, flowing over there to take away the run opportunity for Boomer. But just as importantly, downfield, they covered the receivers very well.
And Boomer hampered in his running, of course, by that lingering groin injury, which has cut down his mobility somewhat. It's a week-to-week thing for him. About the same as last week, he said, and it won't get well until he has time. Johnson fumbled the snap and then booms it downfield. Luckily, there was no Cleveland rush, and the Bengals are going to try to down it inside the 5, and it'll be ruled dead at about the 3-yard line. Johnson fumbled the snap. There's a penalty marker down, but there was no Cleveland rush, and he managed to recover and get the kickoff. But there was an illegal man downfield during the time it took him to field the snap.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Tom. The fellas that are blocking up front for the Bengals and then releasing to go downfield, they count. They can't see what's going on back there.
Number 91 of the kicking team, illegally downfield on the kick. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
When I say they count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they release to go downfield. Carl Zander that time released a little early because of the high snap and the fumble. Johnson makes a nice recovery here. The ball simply goes through his hands because it's wet. Johnson didn't concentrate enough. And by the time he retrieves it and punts, Zander is already downfield.
Lynn James had made a nice job of downing it, but it'll all be for naught, as Lee Johnson will punt once again. This kick will sail down. They're going to try to down it again. Did they get it? Into the end zone, touchback. It'll come out to the 20-yard line after Johnson's 44-yard kick. And once again, the momentum seems to be in favor of the 16-point underdog Cleveland Browns. Well, college football takes over the spotlight on Tuesday. We have a whole lineup of bowl games for you, winding up with the big one, which could be for the national championship. Top-ranked Colorado, Eric Bieniemy and company, against the Rocket Ismail and the 5th-ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. That's coming your way, the final of our bowl games here on NBC Tuesday. First down, Cleveland, starting from their own 20. Game tied at 14. Kevin Mack dancing forward, breaks to the outside. Mack rambling down the sideline to the 40-yard line. Kevin Mack for 18 yards. Lewis Phillips made a saving tackle as he bounced off defenders at the line of scrimmage, got to the corner, and had a first down run.
Well, I think David Fulcher will come in from the right side of the screen here and get his arms around Kevin Mack, but Mack is so strong, he breaks the tackle and bounces outside before Phillips can finally get to him. I think the adrenaline flow is right now going faster for these Browns than it is the Bengals.
Boy, don't you love the play of Kevin Mack. As you said a couple of times, Joe, he just keeps pounding away. Metcalf behind a Mack block. Almost to midfield. He got about 9 yards. And Kevin Mack kicked out a defender, opening the hole for Metcalf.
You know these Browns are thinking about one thing right now. Let's whip these guys. The game's for us to take. Excellent blocking, taking Fulcher out of the way, and then Metcalf gets up the upfield. Beautiful run. Good blocking. I tell you, I'm surprised. I imagine most of you folks at home are surprised too, but Coach Schaffner has these Browns in the hunt.
5:50 left in the third quarter, 14-14. Kevin Mack bounces to the Bengal 45-yard line. James Francis covers him there. Zander helped to trip him up. Averaging only 70 yards rushing a game, over 100 so far today. And a tip of the cap to Kevin Mack, who's done most of that. Kevin Mack has rushed for 69 yards on 13 carries. On the sideline, replaced by Leroy Horde. He's in the backfield with Metcalf. Excuse me, with Gaynor. And the carry is by Metcalf. He takes it across the 45 and down to the 43-yard line. Gaynor and Metcalf in the backfield that time, and Metcalf gets the call. Leon White on the tackle. Here's the Hurts ticker. Washington still leading Buffalo. Look what Atlanta is trying to ruin the playoff hopes for Dallas, although they still have a slim chance with a loss today. Minnesota blanking the 49ers. Giants still up and Miami leading by 2. It's been an unpredictable season, so it's appropriate that the final week would be hard to guess, including this one, 14-14. Gaynor tries to turn the corner and does. Gets enough for a first down before he's driven out of bounds by Barney Bussey. The anemic Cleveland rushing game biting off chunks of yardage now against the Bengals.
Well, sure. Eric Gaynor gets outside. He's going to break a tackle attempt by Eric Thomas. Watch Thomas come up, number 22. Gaynor just puts that arm out there and pushes him down and gets outside for a nice little gain.
Very concerned, Sam Weiss could see his playoff hopes drowned here today on a rainy Sunday at Riverfront. Gaynor. Give him 3 yards straight up the middle. Sam Weiss trying to rally his team, trying to keep them going, to get their enthusiasm, get their intensity to a level that would fight off these underdog Browns, who seemed to be on the verge of giving it up, did Cleveland, after a lot of adversity in the first half. Got an interception to open the second half, scored, came back to score again to tie it, and now are moving 2nd and 7 from the Bengal 33. Kevin Mack back in the lineup. Pagel pitches to Metcalf. Eric Metcalf tries to put on a couple of moves. The Bengals not buying it. He's to the 30-yard line. Bussey didn't take the fakes. Barney Bussey stayed right with Metcalf to get him down. Only the 3rd 100-yard rushing game of the season for the Cleveland Browns. And remember, this Cincinnati defense is not exactly the world's greatest, ranked 25th in the NFL coming into today's game and 20th against the run.
Yeah, well, last week against Houston, they shut down that Oiler run, but obviously this week the defense is being taken apart by the Browns.
3rd and 5, the Browns facing the Bengal dime defense. Pagel's quick pass almost intercepted. He was looking for Brennan, and Crumry, who was backing off his nose tackle spot into pass coverage, nearly picked it off.
A nice twist in coaching by defensive coordinator Dick LeBeau. Watch on the left side of the screen, number 69 drops back. He's a tackle, folks. He's dropping back into pass coverage. They gave Pagel a defensive look and then fooled him by dropping Tim Crumry back into the secondary. Wow.
So now a field goal attempt by Korick, who has hit 14 of 19. 47 has been his longest. This will be a 48-yard attempt. Kick is on its way. No good. Korick misses from 48 yards. Weiss breathes a sigh of relief. The game still tied. The rain continues to pelt players and fans at Riverfront Stadium. It's been raining the entire game. The temperature has dropped down to 40 degrees now, and on its way down. Saw a couple of TV critics in the audience, I think. There's the temperature down to 40 degrees. Brooks, James Brooks, hit by the middle of the defense for the Browns. Mike Johnson right in the center of things as usual. He had 14 tackles in that loss to Pittsburgh a week ago. He leads them on the season with 129 coming in. And Johnson, the 5-year veteran out of Virginia Tech, who started all but one game this season, has had a whale of a contest here at Riverfront. Over 500 career tackles. Total yards in the 3rd quarter, well in favor of the Browns. And in first downs, too, the Browns have 6 first downs, the Bengals only 1. Woods tried to cut back, couldn't get much footing in that wet field, and Anthony Pleasant cut him down as he tried to cut back.
I'm a little surprised that Cincinnati doesn't try to throw this ball more. The footing's not good, so you can see Woods having a little trouble cutting. Look at the water splashing. This kind of weather negates a pass rush. You'd think that Cincinnati would start throwing the ball because Boomer's not going to get rushed.
Boomer he was giving a different sound to his count, and it fooled the Browns a couple of times and finally worked against him as one of his offensive linemen jumped.
Well, his center made the mistake first of all. His center did the old double clutch. Kazurski did. Well, we can't hear exactly what referee Barth had to say, but if we have a replay of it, you watch the football with the center, and you'll see him move it just a hair and then snap the ball. Let's see now. Let's 1-2. Whoops! No, you're not allowed to do that.
And Kirk Strafford also jumped over at the left tackle spot. So that one was messed up from the outset. 3rd and 12 now for Cincinnati on a wet field at Riverfront. Boomer got away from one man, lets the pass go, and it's complete. Scrambling play by Boomer Esiason, who hits Tim McGee for a 21-yard completed pass. Felix Wright on the tackle, but the Bengals get out of a hole with a first down pass to McGee.
Boomer Esiason just hangs tough in there this time. He's able to shake off the tackle and then deliver the ball. Right now, Michael Dean Perry almost gets him down, and Esiason hangs in there to get the ball down to McGee. Big play.
Didn't look pretty. Gibson hit him just as he let it go, but it got the job done. Here's Brooks. Brooks on a first down run to the outside. Brooks to the 20 and out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Stephen Bragg saved the touchdown as Brooks gets to the outside for a 35-yard run, and the Bengals are threatening as the third quarter comes to an end. We'll be back after a word from your local station. Soggy Riverfront Stadium. The fans know the Bengals must win. A loss puts them out of playoff contention. If Cincinnati does win, then they root for Houston to beat Pittsburgh. Should Cincinnati and Pittsburgh tie, the Bengals win the tiebreaker because they beat the Steelers twice this season. Should Cincinnati win and Pittsburgh win, the Bengals would then hope for Seattle to lose to Detroit, and the Bengals would be in as a wild card. First play of the fourth quarter, a run by James Brooks. Brown defense up to the challenge as they stop him at the 15. Mike Johnson and Van Waiters, the two, in on the tackle again for the Cleveland Browns, stopping Brooks for a gain of 1. NFL Player of the Week, James Brooks, after that 201-yard team record effort against Houston last week. 14-14 game, 14 and a half minutes left in the fourth quarter. Brooks has rushed for 75 yards today, and he's over 1,000 for the season. Up the middle, Ickey Woods doesn't get much. Time for us to check in with Bob Costas. Bob?
Early fourth quarter at Joe Robbie Stadium, big play. Jeff Cross on the pass rush, knocks the ball out of the hand of Jeff George. It's a fumble, recovered by Brian Sauché. He rumbles home 13 yards for the touchdown, and some breathing room for the Dolphins, up 23-14.
And here at Riverfront, the Bengals looking for breathing room and then some. They're tied with the Browns, 14 all. Spot the ball at the 12. It's 3rd and 7 for Cincinnati. Boomer flips it complete to Woods, and Woods will be close to the first down. Van Waiters tripped him up from behind, and Woods will be very close to first down yardage. He may have it. Michael Dean Perry was converging on Boomer, who got rid of it to his short man, Woods. It may be just short of the first down. They're taking a long look at it, and they will measure. Gene Barth calls for the chains. Just enough for the first down by maybe an inch, just the nose of the football.
Ickey Woods showing some good hands as a receiver. Comes out of the backfield to the left side. Esiason floats a little left and then just drops it right over the line to Ickey Woods, who uses his hands when the ball's thrown behind him, makes a one-handed catch and picks up the first down.
The Bengals with first and goal from Brown's 6-yard line. Game tied 14-14, 13 minutes left. Boomer switching his backfield alignment. 3 seconds on the play clock. They got it off to Brooks. James Brooks to the 3-yard line. Sam Weiss calling the next play. He's the offensive brain trust of the Bengals. And his extension on the field, Boomer Esiason, who's made some great calls, made a great audible last week on a handoff to Brooks. That's one of the things Sam says that Boomer has done very well this season as a field general, calling the plays and changing them when needed. Maybe changing it now. Here's the new play call. Second and goal, 3-yard line. Play clock to 3. Brooks. Penalty marker down. The ball is loose and the Browns have it. Cleveland has recovered the fumble. Same gash fell on the football, which was knocked loose from Brooks, but a penalty marker is on the field. Remember, the Browns had 2 fumble recoveries nullified.
Offensive holding. Penalty refused. First down.
Not so this time. It's the Bengals that make the crucial mistake. Brooks fumbling the football on a second and goal from the 3. And the Browns recover in a 14-14 tie. Remember earlier in the game when James Brooks made Clay Matthews look foolish? This time Matthews wins the battle as he strips the ball from Brooks.
Well, Clay Matthews will pursue Brooks from the backside. Now watch, he's going to get his left hand over Brooks' shoulder and pull that ball loose. Right there. Do you see that? That's a wily 13-year veteran. Clay Matthews with same gas does the recovering of the fumble. Here, 57 once again. That's Clay Matthews. Look at him go for that ball.
Now the crowd trying to exhort the Bengal defense to hold the Browns deep. Hagel will pass from his end zone. Plenty of time and complete to the 20 to Slaughter. Webster Slaughter makes the catch right against the sideline at the 20, and the Browns have a first down, a 15-yard gain. Boy, this Cleveland team has new life. The whole season of frustration momentarily forgotten as they have a chance to deny their arch rivals the playoffs. Catch may be reviewed. Did he have both feet in bounds?
Well, Lewis Phillips, number 24, the cornerback, didn't think that he was in bounds. There's Jay Barth talking things over on the right of the screen. Let's see if both feet come down in bounds. There's right and left. That's catch, buddy. I don't know. That's a fine catch by Slaughter.
Dotted the eye with that 1 foot, drug it on the turf.
After review by the replay official, the call stands. First down.
Well, the fans don't like it, but that is the correct call. Slaughter with an excellent move, keeping both feet in bounds, and the Browns with a first down just across their own 20. Slaughter's having a big day. Kevin Mack once again gets to the outside, and the big guy keeps his feet going and gets about 8 yards out of it. 7 or 8 anyway for Kevin Mack. Barney Bussey finally forced him out, but Kevin Mack's
taking the ball outside. I mean, he's a big running back. He wants to get it up inside for the hole, but Kevin Mack has enough foot speed still to break outside and make positive yardage. And I'm going to tell you something. Number 21, Eric Metcalf, was downfield, and he got in the way of Thomas just enough to make this a positive play for Kevin Mack to gain yardage.
Second down, 3 for the Browns. Metcalf. Bengals stack it up. Great play by Zander. He takes Metcalf down for a loss on the play. Carl Zander got the penetration, cut off the outside move, and tackled Metcalf for a loss.
Good penetration against the left side and the right side of your screen. Grant gets in there deep but doesn't make the play. Then 91 Zander fights off the block by Kevin Mack and rejects the gain. Now it's going to be about 3rd and 4, which is not a bad situation for the Browns. There's Zander, 91.
Bengals come with their dime defense. 6 defensive backs, now 7 DBs. 7 defensive backs. 4 wides for the Browns. Hagel fires, dropped by Brennan. Brennan had it for the first down, dropped it.
You see Pagel pointing to himself. He wants to take the blame for that. Brennan wants to take the blame for that. Both of these guys are at fault. Coach Schofter knows how hard it is to catch a ball with this much heat on it. That ball is coming fast. It's wet. Brian Brennan tries to catch it in his arms opposed to his hands, and you see Pagel pointing to himself. He feels like he threw that ball with just a bit too much velocity.
Wagner's punt taken by Price at the 35. Mitchell Price gets to the outside and is run out of bounds by Waiters. Price with a good return after that 38-yard punt. We're still tied, 14 apiece.
A delicious, healthy way to lose weight. By First Brands Corporation, makers of Prestone Advanced Formula Antifreeze and STD gas treatment. And by Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now.
Tom Hammond and Joe Namath from Riverfront Stadium. 10 minutes left. Boomer passes complete. McGee has it in Brown territory. He got 9 yards on that pass completion before he's forced out of bounds by Thane Gaggs.
So close. On the right, Eric Ball, number 42, appears to make a clip. Now watch 84, the field judge. Bob Wortman reach into his pocket right there. The striped jersey on the left is going to reach to his back pocket, but does not throw the flag. Why doesn't he throw the flag on that apparent clip?
That was on the last punt, and the Bengals get away with a illegal block when the official couldn't find the flag in his pocket. 9.5 minutes left. James Brooks hit once, then dropped after a gain of 1. It'll be short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and about 1 coming up.
Good defensive play there by Michael Dean Perry and Felix Wright, making this a tough 3rd down situation.
There's Sam Weiss calling the formation, calling the play, and Boomer answering. Actually lost a yard on that last run, so make it 3rd and 2 for Cincinnati. Under 9 minutes left. 14-14. Cincinnati loses. They're out of the playoffs. Eric Ball is in the backfield with Brooks. Boomer fakes. Lost it up for Ball. Eric Ball. Touchdown. To Ball, who had caught only 1 pass all season for a -2 yards. Before that, 48-yard touchdown catch. Breach for the extra point, and the Bengals retake the lead. Eric Ball, 2nd reception. Touchdown from 48 yards. And Joe, it's the little things that often make the difference. On 3rd and 2, a great play fake by Boomer Esiason.
That's it. The Cleveland Browns had to respect the running game. Watch Boomer Esiason make the fake to stay low. He'll stay low. Look at that, hiding the ball. He has 2 open receivers and chooses Eric Ball this time. And Ball catches it and takes it into the end zone. Watch Rodney Holman come back and try and help out right down here to block. There he is. He doesn't, but Holman was wide open also. Excellent play action faking.
And he put plenty of air fire under the ball. He didn't try to drill it. He just lofted it out there.
That's right. Once again, you see Boomer really get low and hide that football. No one can see it in the secondary, and then Boomer smartly lays it up high so Eric Ball can adjust to it comfortably and take it home. Yeah, just like that, huh, Boomer? No big deal.
Well, it could have been the biggest play of the season so far because it gives the Bengals the lead in a game they have to win. Sam Weiss going for the home run on 3rd and short and pulling it off to a wide open Eric Ball. Sam's fired up.
Oh, he is now. He wants his defense to get out there and control the rest of this game.
You know, Sam Weiss was out at 7 o'clock in the morning Christmas Day serving breakfast to about 500 homeless people at a shelter. He's very active in his charitable work on behalf of the homeless. But right now he sees a chance for the playoffs if he can hold on to this lead. Sam's pumped up. So was Lee Johnson, who kicked it out of the end zone, and the Browns will take over on the 20. 21-14, the Bengals on the 48-yard pass. Boomer to Ball take a 21-14 lead. 8:35 left in the game. The Browns have won only 3 times all season, but would like to salvage something by spoiling the Bengals' playoff chances. Cleveland had plenty of chances to quit earlier in the game. Came back with 2 third-quarter touchdowns to tie it. Now must fall back from behind once again. Play-action pass. Hagel, incomplete, intended for Newsom. Leon White was stride for stride with the great Ozzie Newsom, perhaps playing in his final game. He's made no official announcement, but he all but acknowledges that this will be the last game for the future Hall of Famer, who came into the game with 661 receptions, number 1 among all tight ends, number 4 all-time for NFL receivers, the man that hasn't fumbled in nearly 560 chances in a row. He's out now, replaced by Scott Galbraith. There's Newsom on the sideline. Kevin Mack almost broke it, just tripped up by Tim Crumry, or he would have had at least a first down and perhaps more than that. As it was, he got about 6 yards. Going back to Ozzie Newsom, Joe, we talked to him yesterday and we asked him what his most enduring memory was. And he said, well, it's kind of a team thing, playing in 3 AFC championship games. One of his big regrets was not making it to the Super Bowl, but his biggest legacy to the game, he said, was putting athletes back in the tight end spot. His ability to catch the ball was his greatest contribution, and he did it better than any tight end in history. Hagel's pass is complete. Slaughter, 1 man to beat. Slaughter tackled by Bussey at the 42-yard line. That saves a touchdown, but still Hagel finds Slaughter for 30 yards and a Brown first down.
Well, Slaughter just runs a deep out pattern. Right now, Bussey's going to start running. Now, he's going to take off with him. You see that little move right there? That keeps Bussey going. The ball is perfectly thrown that time. The timing is excellent, and then Slaughter makes the big yardage. Gosh, they had to take advantage of this one-on-one coverage with Slaughter every time they get a chance.
Slaughter, 5 catches, 80 yards on the afternoon. He's had a reception now in 33 straight games. He's had 11 career 100-yard receiving games and is not far from that here. 7 minutes left in the game. Bengals lead 21-14. Browns have a first down at the Cincinnati 42. Slaughter on the reverse. Got away from 1 man in the backfield. Has a first down as he's knocked out of bounds inside the Cincinnati 30 by Eric Thomas. Slaughter nearly was corralled in the backfield, but cut up to get away from that 1 man, and then had a gain of first down yardage.
James Francis, the rookie linebacker, number 50, is in position, but Slaughter smartly cuts up underneath, turns it into a good 12, 15-yard gain. Smart play.
Cleveland not laying down. Art Modell can be proud of the way they fought back in this game. Kevin Mack draws a crowd of black-shirted Bengals. He's to the 25-yard line. 4-yard gain. James Francis at the bottom of the stack for the Bengals. Jim Schaffner and his Browns, 16-point underdogs, trying to pull off the upset and deny the Bengals the playoffs. They trail 21-14, having charged from 14 down to tie it up. And now bidding to knot it up once again with the clock ticking down towards 6 minutes left. For the end zone. Slaughter turned the wrong way. Eric Thomas covering Slaughter, who turned to the inside, while Pagel's pass went to the outside.
We really don't know where Slaughter wanted to go, but he does have a step to the outside, and it seems that if Slaughter keeps going outside, it's going to be all right. At least that's what Pagel read, I believe, that he was going to take it outside. Here's Pagel, and if I were Pagel, I'd go right back to Slaughter. Slaughter did get the edge that time. Maybe a little better communication with Slaughter this time. They'll have 6 points.
And they got to think about first down. It's 3rd and 6. And Cincinnati calls a timeout. They didn't like the defense they had on the field, and they spend a timeout with a crucial 3rd down play coming up in this 21-14 game. Cincinnati Bengals and their defense look for the big play here. Earlier, they stopped the Cleveland Browns 4 plays from the 1. It's 3rd and 6 here. The Bengals trying to preserve a 7-point lead. Handoff to Metcalf, nothing. Tim Crumry. The veteran Bengals stacked that one up, and Joe, that is a very curious call on 3rd and 6.
Yeah, you kind of hate to see that happen, especially that result, but certainly not the Cincinnati Bengals. And Tim Crumry, he was right there. It appears that Coach Schaffner and his Browns, though, are going to go on 4th down. They're going to turn their backs on the field goal and try and make either the first down or touchdown here.
Well, for some reason, they go to the running play on 3rd and 6. So now they're faced with a 4th and 4. Slaughter joins in Brennan, 3 wide receivers in the game. Metcalf also lines up as a wideout, 2 to either side, and Pagel will call a timeout as the play clock was already down to 3 seconds.
Cleveland, second timeout. It's a 40-second timeout.
Well, that was a good break for Cincinnati. They didn't know what they wanted to do on defense. Cincinnati Bengals were running around out there, holding their hands up to their heads, waving to the sideline, and Pagel and Schaffner had to call timeout because their offensive clock ran down. A big break for Cincinnati.
Joe, what about the call 3rd and 6 there to run to Metcalf up the middle?
They wanted to surprise, certainly Cincinnati. Everyone, including myself, expected a pass play. So Schaffner tried to cross him up, knowing all along that if they didn't make the first down, at least gain 3 or 4 yards, they'd have a 4th down and short yardage to go. He was playing a 4th down situation that time, knowing that he was going to go for it on 4th down.
All right.
I didn't like the call because of the result.
What kind of play do you call here? 4th and 4.
I sure as heck wouldn't be running the thing up the middle. I'd be throwing that ball to Webster Slaughter if I could.
All right, 4th and 4. This could be the playoffs for the Cincinnati Bengals. Must win to have a chance. They've got 6 defensive backs on the field. It's 21-14 Cincinnati. 4th and 4. 3 wides, now 4 for the Browns. Pagel's pass dropped by Metcalf. He dropped it. And the Bengals will take over.
Throw that thing to Webster Slaughter. He'll catch it. Well, on the left side of your screen, he's wide open. Pagel delivers to Metcalf. Metcalf forgets to hold the ball.
Well, he just dropped the football. Absolutely no excuse. Pagel knows it. Eric Metcalf, whose courage has been questioned at times this season, on a crossing route over the middle. Was he expecting a hit?
He could have been expecting a hit. I don't know what he was doing, except that he just flat out dropped the thing. As you mentioned, his courage has been questioned earlier in the season about crossing the middle and taking hits. But that's an awful tough place, man, running across that middle. Those big linebackers can lay you out.
Now Cincinnati will try to work on the clock, which is approaching 5 minutes. James Brooks gets very little on that carry, trying to get to the outside.
But Cincinnati must make a first down here, or else Cleveland's going to get the ball back with plenty of time to get something on the board. And I don't think Cincinnati wants to take that chance. I wouldn't be surprised to see Cincinnati go back to the play action fake it to James Brooks, because everyone's thinking that, well, we want to run the clock down, so let's stick with the running game. Sam Weiss, he's been known to mix things up and call a play you least expect, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him put it in the air again.
2nd and 8. Boomer tossed a touchdown pass on a great play fake a while ago to Eric Ball. He will hand it to Brooks. And James Brooks breaks it for a first down. Brooks to the outside, finally chased down by Mike Johnson. It'll be close to see where they spot the ball. It may be just a yard short of the first down. It will be.
James Brooks takes it around right end. Excellent blocking up front by Joe Walter, number 63. Look at that blocking by Walter. Now Brooks gets almost to the first down marker before Clay Matthews takes him down.
In fact, it's close enough that they're going to measure. That's not the official chain on that side. That's just a marker to show the players where they have to go and to mark the line of scrimmage with the down marker. But the chains are on the other side of the field, and they're coming across now. 4:22 on the clock. Bengals, with a couple of first downs, can preserve their chance for the playoffs and then go home to root for the Oilers and the Lions. That much short of the first down, so Weiss now faces a third down call. That spinning of the hand is a formation he's calling.
Boomer may come back with that play action pass that was so open the last time. On the other hand, if you want to be a little more conservative, you stick the ball up in the middle with Dickie Woods. Hope that he makes just a foot by leaning forward and gets the first down. If he doesn't get the first down, the clock continues to run, so you're going to save some time, or at least run the clock down with the running play.
Third down and less than a yard for the Cincinnati Bengals, leading the Browns 21-14. And the official's whistle stops the play, making sure all the down markers are set. Boomer on the sneak, should have enough. It is a Cincinnati first down.
Yep. Little confusion at last play. The referee had given the fourth down signal with his fist, and it was only third. Let's take a look at Boomer. Asides to taking the left side of his center, Kozerski, and getting some good blocking by Kurt Strafford in there, I might add, from the left tackle position.
Sam Weiss, he's seen his running back James Brooks top the 1,000-yard rushing mark for the third time in his career. 1,004 yards on 195 carries now for Brooks, who went over 1,000 yards in '86 and in '89. Boomer's pass, and he's going to run it. Esiason slides down at the 41-yard line. And that'll keep the clock ticking away.
Boomer's laughing a little bit. He's happy to find that soft spot on the field. Sure, he wants to throw the pass, but he sees they're covered, and he takes it upfield smartly for the good gainer. He's going to slip on down there before Van Waiters gets over there. He doesn't want to take any hits by the linebackers, I promise you.
Meanwhile, Eric Metcalf on the other side of the field has to be feeling the rain and the cold doubly now after dropping a ball that would have given Cleveland a first down into scoring territory. Dropped a fourth down pass, which would have kept the Brown drive going. Second and 4, Cincinnati looking to work on the clock. Dickie Woods falls for a couple of yards, met by Anthony Pleasant at the line of scrimmage, with Van Waiters coming up to finish him off. Recheck the scores quickly. Look at that, Atlanta shutting out Dallas. The Cowboys don't play like a playoff team today. San Francisco, they were down 10-0 at one time, now up 13-10. The Giants have had a battle from New England, but finally win it by 3 at Foxborough. And Miami and Indianapolis have been going back and forth all day in a wild game. Dolphins on top and heading for the playoffs. Looks like they'll be playing Kansas City if the Raiders win today. Coming to the 2-minute warning in this one from Riverfront Stadium. The Bengals trying to preserve a 21-14 lead with 2 minutes left and perhaps the playoffs on the horizon for the Buckeye State. And Joe Namath, in his unceasing efforts to provide color and round out the picture of a football game, has a Buckeye on hand, and it looks like the Bengals perhaps will hold on to win the Battle of Ohio. If Cincinnati does win the game, if they get the help they need to get in the playoffs, how do you think they'll fare?
You know, they've beaten Houston already. They've beaten Pittsburgh twice already. Cincinnati feels great about their potential opponents if they can make that next step to the playoffs. They've already proven they can handle their opponents in the first leg of it. I think they'll fare well the first time, unless they have to go to Pittsburgh.
Woods is stopped, and I think short of the first down. It may be a measurement situation again, which would bring up a 4th down, and this is an interesting decision.
You know, I say unless Cincinnati has to go to Pittsburgh, Tom, even though they've beaten Pittsburgh over there, this time of the year now, the weather's going to be a bigger factor. It's going to be tough to throw that football at all against the best pass defense in the league if Pittsburgh, in fact, wins today.
Still a lot of ifs in the playoff picture. The one thing we do know is Cincinnati must win here to have a chance, and it looks like on 4th and 1 they're going to go for it. This could be the playoffs for Sam Weiss as he elects to go for the first down.
And last time out. Cleveland's 3rd and last time out.
And you heard Gene Barth say that the Browns have taken their final timeout, and the punting team is coming on the field for Cincinnati.
Absolutely. There's no way Cincinnati was going to try and run that ball on 4th down. He's going to turn it over, take his chances, Sam Weiss is, with his defense stopping a Brown offense. Certainly that's been inconsistent.
So the tension continues here at Riverfront with the Bengals set to punt and protecting a 7-point lead. Well, coming up tonight on NBC, some great entertainment. Hull High will lead things off. Our friend Dick Enberg has a cameo role in that Hull High episode tonight. Then an NBC News special, 1990, Living on the Edge. Jane Pauley, Bryant Gumbel, Tom Brokaw take a look back at the extraordinary events of this past year in that show. That'll be followed by our featured movie, Prime Target, starring Angie Dickinson. It's all coming up tonight here on NBC. Lee Johnson to punt for Cincinnati. 1:47 left in the game. Bengals by 7. Johnson hits a monster that hits the end zone on the fly. Touchback after a 57-yard punt. So Mike Pagel now comes back on the field trying to pull out a touchdown that would tie the game. Paul Brown on the edge of his seat, the 82-year-old patriarch of this Bengal franchise, the former Browns coach, trying to see his team have a chance for the playoffs.
Well, coming into this game, I don't think Pagel could ask for much more than to have the opportunity to tie the game, have the football on your 20 with a minute 36 left. That's pretty good. Pretty good chance for him.
Bengals with 4 defensive linemen and 7 defensive backs. Pagel goes long down the sideline, and Slaughter has room. He makes the catch. 45-yard line of Cincinnati. Thomas defending on the play, but Webster Slaughter makes the catch for a big Brown gainer, and Cleveland comes right back. That one covered 32 yards.
Well, I'm surprised that they're playing man coverage over there and just single coverage on Webster Slaughter, with the Browns having to go so far from their own 20, you know, a zone coverage, giving Thomas a little help that time with Slaughter certainly would have been the better defense.
Cleveland out of timeouts, but Gene Barth and his crew stopping the clock here while they take a look at the replay.
Well, they got to be trying to figure out where he went out of bounds. He certainly looked like he caught the ball far enough inbounds. Look at his single coverage. Nice catch. 1, 2 feet, both inbounds, and that's what they're looking for, the spot of the ball. His rear side hits the ground, I'd say, right there, you see, and his head hits up farther.
Clock operator, please set the clock at 1 minute and 21 seconds.
Oh, they get
21 seconds. Thank you.
They get an extra 12 seconds, too. Webster Slaughter has made 6 catches for 115 yards today. That's his 12th career game over 100 yards receiving.
Now, they set that clock again, Tom, because they're ruling that he was out of bounds. The clock kept going. Obviously, the man running the clock thought he was inbounds when he came down.
Brown's ready to go again. The ball spotted right at the 49, just across the midfield stripe. Hagel's pass, another bullet. Slaughter made a diving attempt at it with Lewis Billups covering, but the pass was a little too wide. It looks like Pagel's going almost exclusively to Slaughter now.
Yes, now Pagel misfires. He throws the ball too far inside. You see Slaughter's open right here, but the football is to his inside too far, and he couldn't make the play. Slaughter did his part. He got open there momentarily or for a few seconds, and the ball was just off target.
Pagel has hit 13 of 28 for 167 yards and a touchdown. Was that catch made right at the sideline? Vernon joins. He has it. Vernon joins came back to the football and made only his 6th catch of the season, and it gives Cleveland another first down. 17-yard gain.
But Cleveland should take their time here now. The clock's not running. Joins was out of bounds. Pagel has plenty of time to get this thing snapped.
Clock shows 1:07. Cincinnati leading 21-14. Ball at the 31 of the Bengals. Hagel's pass, too tall, incomplete. Slaughter, the intended receiver. Stops the clock at 1:02.
Let's take another look at the catch by Joins, number 80, over on the sideline here. He spins to the outside, makes a nice reception, then falls out of bounds to stop the clock.
Well, win or lose, the Browns certainly didn't give up today.
That's right. You know, that's right. We're talking about them not having their heads in the game and all, and realistically, they're not focused, but they are not quitting. The Browns are out there fighting every second of the way.
Hagel stands in the pocket, delivers intended for Metcalf, who was covered by Rod Jones, closely covered by Jones, and the ball sails about 5 yards too deep.
I'll tell you, Jones had Metcalf wrapped up that time. As a matter of fact, Metcalf did end up slowing down in his pattern because there was such good coverage on him that time. 3rd and 10, you can bet they're going on 4th down too, Tom. If they don't make it here on 3rd down, there's not going to be any field goal attempts.
There's the situation. Hagel overshoots the intended receiver, and it's intercepted. David Fulcher, the all-pro safety, intercepts the overthrown pass, and the Bengals will have a chance for the playoffs.
Must be excited or something. I mean, he just keeps letting this clock roll on. I understand he might be from Cincinnati and wants to get this over with, but please.
He wants to get out of the rain.
It's just a misfire by Pagel. Fulcher catches the ball. Now, folks, what Fulcher does smartly is get on the ground. Get down on the ground. Take no chances of a fumble. Wrap up this football game. Smart move by David Fulcher.
The pass overshot Brennan, the intended receiver, and nestles in the arms of David Fulcher for his 4th interception of the season. And now the Bengals simply must kill the clock because the Browns are out of timeouts. And a hard-fought game, some anxious moments at Riverfront Stadium today, but the Cincinnati Bengals will pull out the victory and now must root for the Oilers or the Lions to win to get them into the playoffs. Sam Weiss with some words for Jim Schaffner, who is a friend of his, as the Browns gave the Bengals all they wanted today. Ozzie Newsome in his final game in the NFL after 13 seasons, one of the greatest players in pro football history and the greatest tight end, hanging it up after this one. The winning touchdown was on a pass from Boomer Esiason to Eric Ball with a great play-action fake on 3rd and 2. That was the margin of victory as Cincinnati keeps the playoff hopes burning with a 21-14 win over the Cleveland Browns. We'll return with final thoughts in a moment. Playoffs. They can make it if either Pittsburgh or Seattle lose later on today. Not a thing of beauty, some anxious moments, but the Bengals still alive for the playoffs.